Hi, this is Ricky Sun. I'm a Pi consultant. In this video, I'm going to talk about when you want to see data in Excel data link, right? How do I connect to the Pi servers, right? And I have this, story or scenario that a user come to me asking, hey, I am connecting to old Pi servers. When it connect, it prompt me to type in Pi user and the Pi password. And then he was able to connect and then see data from Excels. Now he wanted to see another new Pi server that he has, and he doesn't know how to add that. So this is the video for that. So when he called me, I asked him, hey, first, can you connect to your existing Pi server? And then he connect, and then he's using that Pi users. I'm like, oh, Pi users. And then he also told me, yeah, he had been using Pi users for a long time. And then he doesn't have access to that Pi server, so we cannot do much about that. But that's what he authenticated, right? And that's fine. And then I asked how, so we wanted to add a new Pi server on your list, right? So we go on to Pi SDK utility and add the second Pi server on the list. And the first thing I do is to add the IP address in there, right? Where is your Pi server, new Pi server IP address? And then we type it in. We got an error, so I'm like, okay, now we have to do all these troubleshooting, which is telnet, right? Telnet 5450, and see if you can get to the Pi server from that IP address. And then the answer is no, right? When we telnet, so up to ask IT, and then back and forth, fill a bunch of form, and then finally we got IP address. So to be able to telnet, we are able to telnet or use, I think there's a test you can do to make sure you have 5450 port open. So that is done, and then this connected. So the network for IT is okay. But by the way, what I said is not good for security, because even though IT do it, IT and OT, right? We should not let things going into OT, right? Data should be only going this way, not this way, right? So that's kind of like security best practice. But anyway, IT did that. We are able to connect. That the second problem we have is, even though we can telnet, we cannot connect because it prompts for Windows users. Like I try to connect, and then it asks me to type in username and password for a Windows user. And then we have to go to the new Pi servers, create the users, right? The local users for the client, or for the users to connect to that Pi server. So we go in, create the users. By the way, this is done by IT. And then that new Pi server still need to get a Pi administrator to add that users into the Pi server, so it can have permission to see data from Pi, right? So another hurdle. After that, we have got the local users, we have got the mapping done from the Pi servers, and then we try again, right? He type in username password on his computer, and then okay, authenticated. So I think just I didn't really understand why it is so hard to even see the data from the Pi system. I think people give up, like, I just want to connect to the Pi server and get data, right? But this become a really hard task for some reason. And like, oh, I just want to add a new Pi server and connect to it so that I can see data from data link, right? Or Excel. Apparently, I don't know why, if you just try do it yourself, there's so much hurdle you have to go through, and people normally gave up, and maybe that's why the, like, I don't know, small company, or I don't know, they are not small, but that's why company don't really utilize Pi system, I think, because it's hard to begin with. Even just want data, like I'm not talking about asset framework or analytic. I didn't talk about that. I'm just talking about data archive. I just want to see data from the data archive, and they go through this hurdle of connecting, not working, and then you have to tell exactly what IT needs to do for you in order to get the data, right? Normal process engineer wouldn't be able to figure that out, right? And then because I know exactly what is going on when you're connecting to the Pi servers, and when you have errors, what errors, right? So I think maybe that's why company doesn't really think or like utilize Pi server to a degree, because at the beginning people think it's hard to connect to begin with, and then I'm like, oh, why should I really care, right? Like, I guess it like a digital transformation is not that easy. It's like it takes people work. It takes time for people to get a hang of this, and then after they could tap to the data, then they can slowly expand. But from my perspective, even connectivity to the Pi server, it's already a hurdle for most people, and I think many people gave up, and then that's why company couldn't digital transform, because it's just hard at the beginning. Like, why am I spacing so much time? Like, it doesn't work, then it's not my problem that it's not working, right? Like, well, IT need to, but like, in order to IT to help you most of the time, you have to tell them exactly what you need. But normal people would not really know, oh, you have to open up port 5450, right? You cannot ask IT to open the firewall, right? You have to tell them specifically what this application need in order for the IT to like help you, I think, for a reasonable way, right? Like, they're not going to like say, oh, let's open Y, and so that your application would work, right? Yeah, that's my thought on from this connect to the Pi server activity in general. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you next week. Bye.